Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. Today, we're continuing our series in the Player's Handbook talking about spellcasting, and we're talking about the Cleric. We've left the mid-tiers of play behind, we've entered Tier 3, and we are now a level 11 Cleric. We are starting to get into the upper echelons of magical power, and we're looking at 6th level spells. This is when you start to get into those spells that you only get to cast once or twice later on a day. You never get more spell slots than that for these spells. Not to mention, as a cleric, your divine intervention power that you got back at level 10 can only cast spells of 5th level or lower. So you can't copy these spells with divine intervention like you can everything we've talked about so far. So, what do I recommend for preparations? I've made a top 5 list, 2 combat-focused spells, 2 utility-focused spells, and an honorable mention. Before we get to the details, though, I'd like to let you know, Relaxed Fantasy Review has memberships. For just $1 a month, you can support me here on YouTube and get a couple benefits. First, you get a little badge next to your name in the comments, letting folks know you're a supporter. You get early access to my videos a day earlier than everyone else, and you get VIP access in my community Discord so you can talk directly to me. If any of this sounds interesting to you, you click the join button just down there next to the subscribe button. And if it doesn't sound interesting to you, that's fine too. Just being around the video, watching, liking, subscribing, joining the Discord, which is free for everybody, is a wonderful way to support me. So thank you for watching my content here on YouTube. Let's start off with the combat spell. Combat number 2 spell that I recommend is Blade Barrier. Wizards may be the ultimate controllers with Wall of Force, but I'd say Blade Barrier is a nice close second here. It is one heck of a wall spell. You summon it with your action, it lasts 10 minutes with your concentration. You can make it 100 feet long or a 60-foot diameter ring, which is a huge space. And it is a bunch of whirling blades. It provides 3/4 cover, meaning if you're trying to hide behind it, that is a +5 to your armor class. And it's difficult terrain, so it's hard for creatures to get through it. And when creatures enter it or end their turn there, they get to make a dex save or take a bunch of damage, 6d10 by the way. So you're going to do a lot of damage if creatures go through this wall. It's wildly strong. Obviously, it isn't the automatic shutdown that Wall of Force might be, but my god, if a creature tries to get through this thing, they're going to have a tough time. So I give it the number 2 spot for the Cleric here. Number 2 spot for utility is something on the other end of the alphabet, Word of Recall. Word of Recall is the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. You cast a spell in a sanctuary. It recommends a temple, but technically it can be anywhere you want. It doesn't specify it has to be dedicated to your god or anything. It can be wherever. You cast the spell and designate the sanctuary. Then, at any point for the rest of your adventuring career, all you have to do is gather your allies within 5 feet of you, and you and up to 5 creatures of your choice, you cast this spell as an action, and bamf! Off you go back to your sanctuary. It's quick, it's easy, and it's safe. It doesn't take the, longer casting time of Teleportation Circle. It doesn't come with the mishap risk of teleport. It simply takes you to your recall point, and that is it. It's wonderful, and I love having it. It is really handy for getting back home when you've gone on a long journey and you're needing to return quickly. So I give it the number 2 spot. Before we get to the number 1s, I do have the honorable mention, and it is a combat-focused spell. It is Heal. Heal is arguably the best healing spell in the game. I say arguably because nowadays with the way Cure Wounds scales, it is, actually might do more hit points depending on how you cast it. And, not to mention, there is Power Word Heal and Mass Heal, but those are 9th level spells. Heal is considered one of those sweet spot spells that sits exactly where you want it to. You cast it as an action, a creature regains 70 hit points. 7-0, flat. There's no die roll, there's nothing like that. It's just bam, there you go, 70 hit points, and it cures them of blinded, deafened, and poisoned. So it cures some status ailments. It is very, very handy. It is nice because there's no variability. A lot of people are scared of the variability of Cure Wounds, of the dice, and this just says, no, here's a flat number. And a lot of people like that. Plus, it's an action, easy to do. So yeah, I'm going to give it the honorable mention because it's a well-known and well-beloved healing spell. As far as our number ones are concerned, our utility number one is Hero's Feast. Now, this is a famous spell, well-known. I think there's D&D cookbooks named after this spell. You cast it using a ritual, which I believe takes 10 minutes. And it costs 1,000 gold pieces worth of material every time you do it, but up to 12 creatures can partake of this wonderful feast, and they gain benefits. It takes them an hour to eat it, so this is definitely something you do the day before a hard adventure. And the benefits last for 24 hours. Your maximum hit points go up by 2d10. This is not temporary hit points, so it does stack with them. In addition, you have resistance to poison damage, immunity to the poison condition, and immunity to the frightened condition. So lots of extra benefits that you can get. And because it lasts for 24 hours, like I said, you can do it the night before. You know you're going into a tough battle, a tough position. Hero's Feast, baby. It is absolutely worth 1,000 gold, and I can say with confidence that this is a spell I would be casting most days that I have prep time. Obviously, if I'm rolling multiple days through an adventure, resting in a tiny hut or something, I'm not going to get the chance to do this. But honestly, this is wildly powerful for any time that you can prepare. And as a cleric, you want to be supporting the party, and this is the best kind of support you can provide. But as far as combat itself goes, it's real hard to give it to any spell other than Sunbeam. Sunbeam is just... man, what can I say about it? It's funny, when you look at Sunbeam initially, it may not strike you as that powerful. It's an action to cast. It creates a 60-foot line of radiance. Creatures make a Constitution save, tough to target, and take 6d8 damage on a fail, on half on a success. That's not a whole lot of damage. 6d8 is like 27 damage on average. So why would I give this the number one? Well, because it's repeatable. That's right, you cast it once and the beam appears, and then you start glowing with daylight out to a nice radius, and it lasts for a minute with your concentration. Every turn after that, without recasting the spell, you just use your action, and you can fire off another beam. You can walk around your enemies to angle your beams correctly, hitting multiple targets in a row. If you're doing 27 damage to just 2 people, and you can repeat this every single turn just by firing sunbeams over and over again, it's going to start stacking up pretty quickly. Plus it's radiant damage, and you shed daylight, which is very handy for certain undead encounters. It's just incredible. Sunbeam is one of those spells that doesn't strike you as that strong at first, and then once you really start to understand how action economy, concentration, and spell slot preservation works, you cast this in a really tough fight, and you're going to be shredding enemies turn after turn. It is genuinely that good, and I have to give it the number one spot. I'm very impressed with this spell. And yeah, that's it. If you're a cleric who's level 11 and you aren't sure what to take Sunbeam, take Blade Barrier, take Heal. Those are great. I wouldn't take Hero's Feast necessarily, because it turns out that you'll know when you need it, because it's a prep-only spell most of the time. And I would set your Word of Recall, but don't necessarily have it ready unless you know it's the last day of your adventure. So focus on this level on the combat spells. Sunbeam, Heal, Blade Barrier. The other ones are situational enough that you'll know the day you need to prepare them. So just make sure that you remember them, and make sure you set your Word of Recall. It will save your life. And yeah, I hope that helps. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below. Have a look for the join button down there, and keep your eyes peeled for more spell reviews coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.